what is a function? A function is a block of code that performs a specific task. You write a code, you write it once, and then you can invoke or call it later in time you need it. The basic function of a function is always like this. We have function, and then we can add a function name, and then we add parentheses. Then after the parentheses we have curly braces, and right here we can run all our code that we want in that function. For example, we can have a function to greet, and we can say declare a function and we call it greet. Then inside this function we can console.log maybe good morning to you. So when we do want to run this function, we do call this function down here, and we just have to write the function name and then add parentheses, and we run. So when we do come onto our console, are we live? Okay, do come onto our console and we try to refresh this. We do have a good morning to you. We call this function, and then it executes the code inside the function and returns whatever is in the function. Second, we do have a function that returns what we call parameters. It has got parameters and arguments, and such a function looks like this. We declare a function, we say greet user, and in this function we pass in a name as a parameter or as an argument. And when we do open this and we console.log let's say hello, and then in here we can use plus, we concatenate the hello with the name, and we can say and also this. So we do have something like this. So what happens is we do also concatenate this, adding two or more words or variables, that using this plus means we are concatenating and we are adding the two. So when we do console.log that, and I can comment out this, I will head back to my browser, try to refresh. I have to first call this function, so I come down here and say I call this function greet user, and then inside the curly braces I have a parameter and I want a name inside this, and I will say maybe this is Owen. And when we do try to run this code, we shall have hello Owen. But looking at this, I think you can see all this word is joined together, and we need something like we need some spaces. We can also concatenate spaces. I will concatenate this as a space, and I will also concatenate space somewhere here, and I will add this and have something like that. When we head back, I think we can see we have got some spaces, so we can as well concatenate spaces. We add two quotes and we add some space, we concatenate with the rest. That's a function with parameters and arguments. We can proceed to we've got a function, we've got functions that return values. For example, we do have a function, and this function is called this maybe add, and in this we've got two arguments. We've got a and b, and when you open our function we can return a plus b. So such a function is a function that returns values. So when we do come and run this, we can say down we can say let sum equals to, then we call a function and we pass in values that is 5 and 4, and when we do come and run this function called sum, I'm very sure we will get the summation of 5 and 4, which is 9, just like this. That's a function that returns values. We can use functions with logic. For example, we can say, what can we, okay, let's for example write a function to check whether a number is even or not. We can pass in the number as our argument, and then we do write an if statement. For example, if a number even, we can use modulus. If modulus of the number is equal to 0, we can return a value. We can return true, and else we can say return false. And after writing such a function, we can now call this function. Let's say console.log is even. So this is a function with return values, and then it has got a logic within it. So when we do we say is even, and then within this it has got arguments, parameters. We can add 6, and we need to check if 6 is even or not. So now when we do check here, it returns true, meaning 6 is an even number. We can go further and try out 7. We say is even, and we pass in, for example, 7, and when we do look at our browser, it shows it's false, meaning 7 does not return 0 as a remainder when divided by 2. We have a function expressions. Functions storing, okay, we can store functions in variables as well. For example, I can say const say hi, and I say this is equal to a function, and I can write a function here, and function can just to console hi there. Okay, just console hi there. So when we do call this function down here, maybe we call this say hi, and we say this is a function. We stored our function in a variable, and we just called a variable, and we just call it like a function. When we do this, it will show us this hi there, meaning we can store a function in a variable. I will get rid of this, and the other thing is what we have, what we call arrow functions. This is a shorter syntax for functions. For example, let's try out a function to multiply. For example, const multiply, and we say this is equal to, we open parentheses, we pass in arguments, let's say x and y, where we write this with an arrow, and then we open curly braces, and we say we are returning x times y, and we do call this function just like we've been calling other functions. Say console.log, we say console.log. We can call this function, let's just call this function multiply, and we've got arguments, we've got 2 of them. We say x is 3 and y is 5, and we can see what we have here. Okay, can we refresh this? Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to console this, and we just come and say console.log and this function with its arguments, and checking here we've got 15, which is 3 times 5. So this is what we call an arrow function. I will write a function. We use this person parameters, use the arrow and return a value. This is a short version, and it is for simple returns basically. So overall we've got basic functions, we've got functions that return values, we've got function expressions, and we've got arrow function. We shall be looking at search, and you can take it up to your challenge. You can write a function that checks if a number is positive, it is negative, or it is 0, just to test yourself. But this is the basic syntax and how we write functions and how we shall be using